It's time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the King of the Couch back in your ear holes for another week of the King of the Couch podcast. Sitting here tonight. It's episode 118. I've got an esteemed colleague, guest, really the co-host for Balls and All, future 2022 show, Mr. Jarrud Sukjai, the Wizard. How are you, man?
Good, man. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Hey, thanks for coming on tonight. It's always a pleasure. But we're sitting here tonight, and it's kind of like a new studio. We've got, my desk is fucking gone 180. I've got the camera set up. You're the first guest to be filmed. So this is pretty interesting. Anyone that's watching at home on YouTube, we've got some new artwork in the back. Shout out my father.
How good is it?
It's good, man. It's good. He obviously didn't have pink paint. He had maroon, and he's got a wood burner. And this was the first piece of art that he pumped out. And I'm stoked though. This is his way of telling me he loves me. Not actually telling me he loves me, but just carving my face into a piece of wood. So
you look a bit like Chopper, like you don't have any ears. What's going on there?
He couldn't get the ears. It was his first time, mate. And Jarrud sort of put two and two together that this Elvis statue is actually me as well. So, but no, good to be back. It's been a whole fucking week actually. It's been good. I've been healthy. I've been fit. You've been healthy. You've been fit.
Yeah, you stayed off the grog for a week.
Yeah, actually on that note, better fucking do that. Yeah, cheers to his new sponsoring me tonight.
Yeah.
I did. I only had a tipple yesterday. We'll talk about health. I've got a little shout out straight up. I'm wearing a trucker hat here tonight. You can't really sort of see it. Actually, got a haircut yesterday. I look good. I shouldn't hide the fucking do. It looks amazing actually. But I'm wearing a trucker hat here. It's the first time for me wearing a trucker hat since I was about maybe 13. Good friend of mine, good people at Movil have sent me this trucker hat. They've given me a code, KOTC, right? They've got a little promotion on right now. They're a moving company, not removalists themselves. It's just I believe like a platform to help people move. You put all your stuff in, whatever it is. I don't know how it works, but go to moval.com.au, maybe, muval.com.au.
MUVAL.
Yeah, Movil, Muzzle.
Okay.
Yeah, Movil. But go and check it out. And then if you go and you book some moving stuff in, there's a little promo code there at the end that I want you to put in, KOTC. If you do that, you're getting a 6-pack of beer and I'm getting a 6-pack of beer. That's what they're paying me. I will work for beer. And the kicker is that it's a special little beer. It's called Move Ale. I was really stoked with that. I was like, that's a really cool name. So Movil are doing Move Ale. They've got 2,000 6-packs to give away, and I want as many of those 6-packs as I can get. So if you go to Movil, you're looking at moving, interstate, next door, doesn't matter. Go to moval.com. KOTC is the code. Check it out. I think that was my first sponsorship plug. That was a love job.
Yeah.
But fuck it, let's get into the show. We're sitting here. It's 8:08 p.m. We've got the YouTube cranking. We've got the mics going. What's been going on, man? What has been going on? What have we got here?
Pretty busy day today. Got up early, went to the beach. Beautiful. There's no swell. It's like really flat but beautiful water.
Actually.
Yeah. And then the kids went to school. I sort of bummed around, but
you didn't work today?
Nah, I had most of my days off. But I went for a swim down at Curramundi, and I didn't tell you this before, but there's no one else swimming. It was pretty windy, and 10-ish meters in front of me, as I'm just like chilling in the water, stingray jumped out of the water.
Like a stingray.
A stingray jumped out of the water.
Fuck.
And I just literally put my hands up and started moving backwards. I'm like, holy shit.
You're
Thinking
like,
of our late great Steve Irwin.
Steve.
Yeah.
Jarrud.
Yeah.
This is not the way I go.
I nearly tripped over a log that was in the water on my way back, and oh shit, what was that? And I was like, I don't want to risk it with flying stingrays. You know, I've had my second swim of the day. I'm good. So.
No, that's fucked. That's not what you want. I've actually touched wood. I don't know if I need to touch wood on it, but I've never seen a stingray in the water in real life. Actually,
Really?
I tell a little one, but stingrays really fucked up our nation after they took Steve Irwin. Like it should have been a snake. It should have been a crocodile.
Yeah.
Like realistically,
Or a shark if he's in the water on the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it was a fucking stingray. Like that would have been the last thing I would have thought about. That would take anyone. Frankly, I'll be honest. I just didn't even know they could kill people up until that moment.
Yeah. Could be a first.
Could be a first. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, but. Oh, I'm glad you lived to tell the tale.
Yeah, I'm good.
And you're here again.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I had a pretty chilled out day. I had my second session with Nick. The fitness is going well. We did a Muay Thai session yesterday at yours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was good.
I'm feeling like I need to submerge my body in ice right now. I'm a little bit tender.
Yeah.
I mentioned on last week's show that I have been doing like the movement stuff. I've been pretty healthy. An update on that, I've been doing 50 push-ups a day. I haven't done 50 today. I've done like 20.
Do them live.
Do them live, yeah. But I've done 50 push-ups a day, which is crazy. 50 push-ups a day for like 7 days. It doesn't sound like a lot, but like by the 7th day, you're like exponentially stronger in your chest.
Yeah.
Like you can pump out like I can get 30, no worries. Just like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Quick breather, and then get another 20. I'm like 4.
Yeah.
I'm up in the game. Moving 75 this week, and then it'll be 100.
Yeah.
I'm looking down the barrel at a Guinness World Record here. No, but it was crazy, you know. And then we did that session yesterday at your house.
Yeah.
So Jarrud, I probably mentioned you before, but you're an ex Muay Thai champion.
No, I've trained Muay Thai before.
You're half Muay Thai. You're half Thai.
Yeah.
Full Muay Thai. You got real authentic with me yesterday too. I'm there and I'm like, what is that? Those horns?
Yeah. Put on the Thai music.
I tell you what, you want a good Muay Thai session in a backyard, go around to Jarrod's house, he puts on the proper, what is it, like the Pattaya band?
Oh, it's an actual, like it's a live recording instrumental Thai music they play between, you know, in the rounds when they're actually fighting. So
no wonder they're trying
different tempo with as the rounds progress as well. So it's sort of more chilled out in the first round and then, you know, increases obviously. So
no wonder they're trying to smash each other's faces off. As soon as
does it get you in the mood?
It might just want to kill someone hearing that music. It's almost like what it was like to me was like high frequency dogs. And I was like, what is that in my head?
Yeah. It's almost like when a poo comes to the Simpsons house and he plays that instrument, or Lisa plays that instrument, and Homer's just like, oh.
I know. I was just, the whole time, I was just like, when's this fucking Cobra going to appear? That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun, man. It was really good. So I'm trying to make a bit more of an effort, obviously, on the weekend to stay with I had 2 ciders on Saturday night, which is good. Beck goes, you know, I always say I'm not having a drink. And there's a difference between like having a drink and then having a drink. You know what I mean? So 2 ciders for me is like, it's like taking a breath of air. Like it's nothing. But yeah, it was good to get up. And then I'll be honest, I went off. I had about 4 subbies yesterday. And
Did you?
I'd say 90% of a bottle of rosé last
After
night.
training, yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I was like Tyson Fury. You know,
Yeah. Cameron Munster just on them,
Yeah, dude, I was sending it. I actually better when I play with a hangover. You know, when I come on here. I actually get requests. People say, look, I appreciate you trying to look after yourself, but I appreciate it when you come on sort of 3 sheets. I'm like, I can't believe people are just condoning this behaviour, but fucking whatever. Yeah. I'll take you up on it.
Well, ironically, paradoxically, to your 2 drinks being nothing, like you having air, I had 2 drinks on Saturday night, I think. Jamie's parents had the kids, so we went out and I had 2 at home, and I was like my version of like drunk, shattered with 2 drinks, 2 vodkas, because I don't drink often, as you know.
You're a literal 2-pot screamer. Like that's what you are.
It's a good way to save money.
It's fucking mate, I know. Like, it's amazing, like just how much alcohol costs. It's my definite, like it's my worst vice that I've ever had. And it's fucking expensive. Like it's going to get to that point. 20 years now, I'm going to go into a pub and order a schooner, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, thanks, mate. $48.50." I'm going to like, "Oh Jesus Christ, I should have stayed over a carton. They're only $159.50." You know, like it's fucked up. Hey, how it's like it's up there with house prices and fuel prices now. Hey, they're driving us out of business. These bottle-os. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I'm feeling good. I was pretty good. I had a little bit of a blowout last night. That was my thing. I was like, I'm going to treat myself now. 6 days of hard work. Because that's the kind of guy I am. And then I'll get up today and get straight back into it. I know I had a session with Nick, which was good. Shout out Nick. He gave me 4 new exercises, and I'll be honest, I walked away from that going, I'm pretty good here. But 10 minutes later, I was really fucking feeling it. Eh? Like my organs were sore. Like I'm doing a lot of like core stuff where you like suck it in. You're pulling the belly button to the spine. Now, like physics wise, that's like, to me, that's physically impossible. But in the yoga Pilates world or whatever world it is. It is a thing. Like, it's like breathing air. So I'm there trying to fucking reef my belly button all the way through to my spine. By the time I got home, I was like, well, I think my organs are fucked. Like, my organs were sore, pancreas, kidney, I'm not sure which ones, but I had to take a breather at work. I'm lucky I work from home because I was just sitting there just like, wow, what's going on in my life?
I saw this guy down at the beach a couple of weeks ago. He was a pretty ripped sort of dude, and he was sitting on the rocks and just cross-legged, and he was doing those like real deep breathing, and like his belly was just going like, look, kind of like what you're saying. Oh, what is this guy? Yeah.
That was me, yeah. No, it wasn't me.
He looked a bit Swedish, but it could have been you. Yeah.
Was it a ball guy? There's a few ball guys getting around doing deep breathing up here on the coast.
No, he was. I don't think he was. Maybe he was.
That's the real Czech thing. Like,
so you have to be bald.
If you go that you're into it, right?
Yeah.
Paul Czech is bald himself. I think that's the thing. All the good practitioners don't have hair.
Yeah, right.
I even noticed Nick shaved his head too. So when I get full into it, the hair's coming off.
Yeah, streamlined.
Yeah, but it's a dope hair. It's a dope hair. I'm hitting this truck out. I'm gonna just marinate it for a week, mate. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. I mentioned on Instagram earlier this evening. We've got a bit of a gangster movie one. We're big movie fans. Shout out yourself because you got me the Goodfellas soundtrack. You're probably one of the nicest friends I've ever got. Every time you're like almost like a loving partner in that way. Every time I go, I wouldn't mind getting such and such, you then gift it to me like within a week. I'm like, I'm just gonna come at you with Christmas lists this year, because you're fucking good at listening. But no, for real, shout out yourself for that one. Of course, Goodfellas is on this list. But we're gonna talk gangster movies tonight. But we got a little bit of stuff to get through. Of course, I can't remember the last time it was probably like a good month ago. But there's been some news in Australia. Some mandatory
Queensland,
news.
yeah.
Queensland, the COVID vaccine.
Close to home, yeah.
Very close to home, very close to home. They're trying to not let us get to the pubs and clubs. We'll get to that in a sec. You've put down a note here, and this one really intrigued me. I will say, shout out Jarrud. He's like, I do a little bit of loose researching, study for the shows. I get on here and I just spit filth and wisdom. But Jarrud puts his heart and soul into it. He gets right down. But this is probably one of the most interesting notes you've ever put on one of these lists. Are eggs healthy for you or not? And I'm thinking, well, yeah, like that's got to be a thing. But little did I know yesterday, you told me that you hadn't eaten an egg in how long?
Probably about 5 years.
And now you're back.
Yeah.
So tell me the egg story. What made you prompt this on the notes?
So at the start of this year, I started eating meat again, like white meat, like chicken. I've had fish once this year. It was only a couple of weeks ago. But vegetarian since late 2015, but didn't really eat any eggs or cheese. I'm not really big on dairy anyway, so I've never really drunk milk or can't really do cream and ice cream, that sort of stuff. I'm okay with cheese and chocolate, but eggs, like for sometimes you'd get them and it'd just give you like real metallic taste in my mouth and it wouldn't feel good afterwards and it'd put me off them for a while. But I used to have like poached eggs or fried or scrambled, maybe in like Thai dishes, noodles, things like that.
Yeah, because like I feel like eggs are used a lot by Asian.
Yeah,
heaps. Like nasi goreng and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I would order it like most of the time and I'd take the egg out specifically. And, as a vegetarian, I was doing a lot of research and I was just like, hey, I think the jury's still out on eggs. Like from what I could tell, because you got all these people like vegan sort of size saying, how bad they are and how bad it is for the chickens and cage farming's awful and everything like that.
Belch.
But then all the studies on the different nutrients and minerals that eggs contain. But then it was interesting because in the US, from what I could tell, it's actually illegal to advertise eggs as healthy.
Really?
Which I found strange. I was just they can't be healthy then if it's illegal. But then it got me thinking because of my conspiratorial brain. And I was like, well, my mum has chickens. She's got like 15, 20 chickens. She's got goats. She's got horses. She grows her own food. And, when I get eggs from there, they taste amazing and you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
And,
the homegrown eggs, that's going to be my first question. Follow-up question. Yeah.
So, I started getting eggs from her and then I was like starting to buy free range organic. And then I was like, I wonder if they're deemed illegal. I wonder if there's this push to make them look bad because it's a form of, food. You can basically, not grow, but like you can regenerate for yourself. You can have chickens and they're going to lay you like on average 1 egg a day.
Yeah. Right.
And if you only need to eat 2 eggs, you only need 2 chickens, all of a sudden you're not relying on big supermarket companies and things like that.
Farms, yeah. Mr. Tweedy's chicken run farm.
So if you're getting nutrients and stuff from them, well, I don't know. It's just an interesting question. I thought I still don't know the answer, but I'll tell you what, because I'm exercising now, like running, doing Thai boxing a little bit, swimming, eating it like an egg or 2 a day, I feel really good.
I'm going to go out here on a limb and say eggs are healthy, but I'd like to say it's the quality eggs. So going back to when you were a young pup eating eggs, and I will say there's people in my family that still buy cage eggs. I can't do that. And even the packaging on cage eggs, like they don't even try it. They don't even try to fucking hide that it's a battery end. It's just grey, very communist. It's almost...
They're probably not allowed to. Kind of like ciggies, you can't...
Yeah, it's like health warning. That'll be the next thing. It's the health warning. Hey, these eggs are fucking... I don't know, will cause severe diarrhea and cramping. You just eat them, they're $2 a dozen. But yeah, like I never buy cage eggs and I sort of went up and I was like, I'm going to get free range eggs. And then then I had to have a closer look to eggs because I didn't realise, and this maybe was the thing after the years and years of eating eggs, but they have to now display the amount of hens
per hectare, yeah.
Which really blew my mind because I was getting these free range eggs that were like 10,000 hens per hectare and I didn't pay attention to it. But then I looked at another free range egg and it was like 1,500 hens per hectare. I'm thinking, well, they got to be happy hens. So I went to that one And there's just levels to this shit. Then it goes to organic.
Yeah.
Now Nick, he's big into the organic food. That's part of like the whole holistic thing that I'm doing, and I'm slowly trying to transition. I'll say there's like a good chunk of organic food that is not much more expensive, aka veggies, but there's a damn good chunk of organic food that is fucking expensive. Hey,
Yeah.
like the old pasteurized eggs. I'm not sure. I sound like I had an accent there.
Yeah.
Is it pasteurized eggs?
Pasteurized.
Pasteurized eggs. I don't even know what that is.
Raised by pasta.
Yeah, they're like $12. It's like $1 an egg, you know. And at that point, I'm going, and I like to smash like 2 to 4 at a time. Like I'm that guy. I'm like a bodybuilder when it comes to eggs.
Yeah. Just raw.
But I think eggs are good. I know a few fucking personal trainers, and they swear by the eggs. They're like that's. And this one dude, he put the coolest post up once. My mate James Stewart, shout out James Stewart. He put up a boiled egg, and he was just like, protein ball. I was like, that to me is like what I think of. I was like, that's a ball of protein.
Yeah.
Like it's unreal. But there's been so much conspiracy over the years with eggs. There was the cholesterol thing.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was like, oh, you shouldn't eat the yolk, and you take the yolk out. Now it's like I feel like it swings. I've not heard that shit in a while, and I feel like it's gone. Like it's back. Like, oh, eggs are healthy. You know, eat the egg again. But
it's just one of those things, like, to me, you know, I haven't eaten red meat since 2015, and I probably won't eat it for some time if I do again, but different things suit different people. There's no blanket healthcare or diet advice you can offer to someone. Like, some people will fine to have dairy, but if I drink it, if I drink milk, I've never been able to do it. Just metallic taste, feel like shit, you know, going to give me the shits as well, so just don't do it. Everyone's different, but... Yeah.
I think your body gets used to things. I tried dairy milk. Like I've been looking at these organic things and going back to like, I'm gonna eat just whole foods, and like that's my thing. And I've looked at, you know, I've never been like a meat heavy person. I'll eat meat, but I've never been like, I'm a carnivore. You know what I mean? I'm gonna fucking eat raw liver and shit. No, I gotta get some bone marrow.
Liver King.
I am Liver King out. Yeah, I love the Liver King. But I was in the fucking Herbalife scheme for years. I was on like a shake diet, and that was probably like quote unquote my healthiest version I've ever been. But it wasn't really like sustainable, I thought, because after the fact it was all propped up by like all the other shit we were doing, right? So you're smashing shakes, you're smashing this, you're smashing that, because you think there's a financial end goal. As soon as I was out of that mindset, I was like, these shakes don't taste as good, and I don't think they're working as well, you know. So that sort of fell by the wayside. And it always comes back to just meat and 3 veg. And so I'm like, all right, I love oat milk with my coffee, but then you look at like the ingredients, you know, and I'm thinking, fuck, how do they even milk oat? Like, it's crazy to me. And then you look at all the ingredients, and there's like these like what the fuck is xanthan gum? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Can you chew it? I'm not sure. And then there's like oils and this and that. I'm like, and then I look across at like the dairy milk, because I actually bought one recently. Like it went up, it was a bit cheaper. I was like, I'll get this. It was lactose free. I'm like, well, that's gonna be good. Hopefully I won't shit my pants, you know. I looked at it. What's in it? Milk. I'm like, okay, cool, right? This has got to be pretty awesome, you know.
Yeah.
I come home with the best intentions, crack it. First sip of coffee, yuck. My taste buds have changed, and the oat is just delicious.
Yeah,
you know, so
it's a hard one because, like you said, with ingredients and stuff. Like, I was having Nuttalex for ages, which is like a vegan sort of spread, but now I just don't have any sort of spread. I don't drink almond milk, which we have the boys have that on their cereal and stuff, but. So all this imitation stuff that's trying to be meat, surely it would be healthier if you just eat the meat, because like the amount of just horrible additives and preservatives and all this chemical sort of stuff they add into it. But you know, I've never been into that stuff. If I want to eat vegetarian, I'm going to eat vegetables. You know, it's pretty simple sort of ingredients.
That's my thing too. Like I know a few friends that are I wouldn't even say they're vegan, they're more like plant-based. I got one friend in particular, and he's like a real staunch like animal activist and stuff. I mean, more power to him, you know. Like I like people that are into something, you know, I appreciate that. You know, I'll eat meat, but I 100% know exactly where he's coming from. But yeah, he's the kind of guy that like, there was periods of times where he'd be eating like 18 bananas a day just to fuel himself on like a 100 crate ride, you know. Like there's people like that on both sides take it to the extreme. I know I follow these guys up here that are like carnivore, and I'm like, surely all that steak and hardly any fiber can't be good. Like that's just in my experience, but maybe I'm not eating the right steak, you know. And that's something that I'm really trying to like educate myself on, you know. Like there's like farm meat or whatever you want to call it, and then there's like the, you know, it's like looking at the mince. Like I bought mince tonight, it was 5-star. I'm thinking that has to be the best, right? It's 5 for 5, right? But they go all the way to like 2-star mince, and you're like, mince is pretty gross to fucking begin with. What the fuck is in the 2-star mince? You know, like is it
hoofs.
It's the toenails, the eyeball, the hoof. How is this hoof spaghetti? But yeah, and then it's like you go and I went to get a grass-fed piece of steak the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll just, take out half a fucking loan here to get this piece of steak. It's like the most expensive thing I can buy a week.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things, but...
When I was studying a lot, and I really only read one book when I was like vegetarian, I was, pretty close to being vegan. And one of the book that I read that a lot of people point to is this one called The China Study. Yeah. And it's about when one of the leaders of communist China got cancer or something like that. He wanted to have this massive study put through the whole country, like we're talking, over 1 billion people basically, to study diet and the links to cancer and all this sort of stuff. And it was really interesting because they looked at people that lived in rural areas that had a little bit of meat but mostly vegetables, and they were healthiest and lowest forms of cancer and heart disease and stuff, but they were still eating meat. Yeah. And so it was kind of like a book pushing veganism. Yeah. But didn't also hide from the fact that the people that they were studying that were the healthiest weren't actually vegan. They would have a little bit of meat on their plate, but then mostly, vegetables and none of that processed stuff, none of the processed oils or processed carbs and things like that. Just really simple ingredient sort of stuff. So yeah, and I think humans have evolved and been designed to eat meat. But it's obviously from your mate and myself previously, like an animal welfare rights sort of issue. It's pretty horrible, that factory farming sort of stuff. But that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, and I find that for the layman, someone in my position, I'm not a nutritionist, you know what I mean? So I always just think at the very least it has to come back to am I feeling good? Yes. No. And then you go, what can I change? And you sort of do a stock take, Man, I got up this morning and this is kind of fucking gross, and I was like, oh, I've got to go to the toilet, and it was just wasn't in a good way. I was like, wow, this is no good. And I literally was like, what did I eat yesterday? Hey, so I was not much breakfast. I think I had 4 T's new, a lot of fucking rosé. There was pizza last night. I had a steak yesterday with some salad. Do you know what I mean? I had a fucking good bowl of twisties while I was sitting there watching The Gentleman last night. I'm like, I'm having a time, man. I woke up today and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm in pain. There's nothing good in there. So then you have to stock take and go, how do I fix that? It's pretty easy. But then you ask that question. It's like, well, how do I know I'm feeling good until I get to that point of really feeling good? Yeah. When I was doing the Herbalife, there was times where I was like, I'm cruising here. I'm not tired. I'm not this. I'm not that. I was hopped up on all sorts of different supplementation and stuff. But you're like, well, I must be doing good because I'm feeling good. And that's kind of what it comes back to for me. Hey, it's am I feeling good on these eggs? Fuck yeah. Let's eat eggs. And the thing is, if you are feeling good, then you keep doing it until the time that you don't, and mix something up, change something up. There's nothing wrong with being flexible. Yeah. If you're really dogmatic and concrete in the way you're going to do things, and that's why I've kind of always had a thing against veganism, because it's always the people that I had come across in my previous time had always been really holier than thou. They know what's up and you don't, and their way is the best way, and so on. And it's just, if you look at people that live in Inuits that live in northern Canada, the North Pole, that are eating seals, they live in the ice. You're going to tell them they should just die. You know what I mean? But they manage to be carnivores pretty much primarily. They can't grow vegetables in the ice. They can't, man. Then there's just fish and seals. I'm assuming
good free range seal.
Yeah,
that's what the Inuits want. I'll be honest, where do you, and we may have talked about this before, but it's when it comes to meat eaters, right? And then people some meat eaters can get a bit arrogant, I love a good steak. Yeah. Off a cow. Do you know what I mean? But what stops you from eating a seal? I was in Switzerland and I saw horse on a menu, and instantly you were like, a horse, a horse steak, and you're like, there's really no difference between a horse and a cow. I mean, okay, there's no cows at the Melbourne Cup, but
that'd be a good day. Yeah, I'd watch that. I mean?
Fuck these guys, come on, gun, honestly, I'd rather see cows, man. I think horse racing's fucking dumb as shit, but it's kind of like that. Hey, so you're I would go out of respect for animals everywhere. If I haven't eaten one, I can't. It's like being racist in a way. You're like, well, I'm not eating that one, but no, I'm eating it. And I guess you just draw the line at human.
I mean, I'm at the moment I'll have chicken. I've had fish that one time. There was a bone in it. And I was like, yeah, cool. Not my thing.
The marrow, dude. You need the marrow, man.
One of those tiny. This is in the fish that I ate. Just one of those sharp little fuckers that.
Oh, the one that you're gonna choke and
die. Yeah. And I was like, nah. And I was being very cautious the way I was opening the fish up
Yeah.
because I just thought there's got to be a bone in here somewhere, surely.
Yeah, you
And it
can
was.
respect it, eh?
But you know, people, it's a tough one because people look at the Chinese, they eat dogs and cats and stuff, and like, oh, it's horrendous. And I think it is horrendous, especially the way they're treated
It's
prior to
usually
them
the
consuming it.
treatment of the animal before it gets eaten.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like, and I'll probably lose some fans over this, but like, I can understand someone eating a dog and a cat because I can, same as I can understand someone eating a cow and a chicken and a pig.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just, people have pets as pigs and chickens, and I saw a fucking lady with a chicken at the beach the other day. Blew my mind. It was like
What?
6. It was like 5:30 in the morning. She was walking. I was like, is
A
that
chicken?
chicken on the beach? Like,
Okay.
with the claws, and it was one of those furry ones. I'm not a chicken.
What beaches is that?
This was at Happy Valley, and this chick. She was
So it's not a dog beach.
not
Yeah.
a dog beach. It was a chicken beach. She was quite she was quite free range herself. You could tell, you know, the no shoes, the armpits and stuff. And,
Well, I hope she was wearing no shoes at the beach.
mate, I tell you what, she was out there. I was like, well, more power to her. We're out there like walking our daughter, and she's out there walking her chicken, and like we just, as we come back, they're sitting down in the park having their coffees and shit, and they got like little cups out. And it was like, it made the sound of a rooster. But it wasn't a rooster, if you know what I'm saying. It could have, I don't know. I don't like chickens. You know I got the bird for you. But yeah, I don't know. But anyway, look, we're not condoning dog eating tonight or cat eating or anything. Just eat what you want. Just don't let us know about it. Right? Just treat the animal with respect, okay?
Yeah.
I'll probably get a lot of fibre into it. It's very, very important evidence of me this morning. I had a hard time, so I'll let you marinate on that one. This is going swimmingly. I love this sort of banter. Mate, big news in the COVID world. We have been quite vocal with our opinion on the show. I vowed not to talk about COVID a few shows ago, and I haven't, I think, on my individual solo shows. But you just bring it out of me.
Yeah, I just come in and just go, fuck that.
You just bring it out of me. But it is crazy. Like, you might know a bit about the thing, but more than I do, like the full fucking detail of it. But basically, they're not making the vaccine mandatory. Well, at least it's not in writing that it's mandatory. But you now cannot physically do anything in Queensland from December 17th, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah,
we're like a month away for the unvaccinated.
Theoretically, I think there's a 6-week gap between your first and second shots, like minimum. I'm pretty sure. So that's sooner, I'm pretty sure, than 6 weeks from now. So the 17th of December. So if people were to run and get their first shot now, then they'd still be out of whack for, you know, a couple of weeks before they could actually do some of the stuff that's on this list.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've not got one shot. You've not got one shot.
No.
And I didn't think that, and I will say, and we've talked about this before, I'm not anti-vax. I just haven't got it. It's never really been a thing here, eh? Like, the closest we've come to it is like, what, one case and maybe like masks. That's it, right? I've been seldom wearing the masks over the last probably 2 months, realistically. It feels like that anyway. It depends where you go.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot, I feel like there's a lot of free spirits up here as well. You know, it's kind of like what the coasts are about.
As it went on, like, more people just went, what are we doing? This is
there's nothing
fucking
going
stupid.
on here.
Yeah. And then it ended a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. The mandate for masks. So.
And that's the thing. And then now they've come out with this stuff that's like, if you don't get it, you don't get the 2, right? If you don't get the 2 jabs and fully vaccinated by December 17th, you can't go to. Well, if you some workplaces, I'm not going to
okay, no, so hospitality,
hospitality, retail,
so pubs and clubs. Well, no, retail's not at this stage, but pubs and clubs, sports stadiums,
live music is a thing.
Music. What else?
Like, it's hard enough.
Can't go to prison, you know.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah,
I was really looking forward to going.
Wanted to get jumped in, but
yeah, we were just about to commit a crime. Fuck. Anyway,
I'm not saying this, but I'm saying, like, if you commit a crime and you're before the judge and say, well, but I'm not vaccinated, I can't go to prison. Your Honor.
Thing, yeah, imagine that. Oh fuck, he's just like the judges there, just like no. There's so many of these unvaxxers.
This is the law.
Yeah, these antis are just fucking, you know, not bad people, but it turns out they're actually murderers.
Yeah, they're just doing the purge.
Yeah, fuck, man. But it is pretty scary times. I mean, I was a bit gutted because and look, I'll be honest, I don't mind getting the vaccine. I've thought about it over the last week or two. It's kind of just that, it puts you in that space where you go, I'm a bit rebellious in my head, and I sort of go, as soon as someone's like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that, you shouldn't do that, you're like, oh.
It depends who's telling you, and that's the thing, is for me, it's the track record of these cunts that are telling me to do stuff. I'm like, nah, no thanks. Like, you pieces of shit. I don't want to listen to you.
Yeah.
And like dangling this carrot of, oh, you can't go to pubs and clubs. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to go to pubs and clubs now.
Yeah.
Like,
well, we're a little bit different. You know, my clubbing days are over. My pubbing days are full. You know.
Is RSL a club? Maybe rethink my.
Yes, I'm back, baby. No, but it is really crazy, hey, because like we've got family coming up for Christmas from Sydney. They're, as far as I know, they're all fully vaccinated and stuff, and I've been fans. They've been like, you gotta go get it, you gotta go get it. It's just that weird mentality, hey. And I think we're probably the same on that. Like, we're very much guys that like. I like to think that we like to think for ourselves.
Yeah.
There's certain things in society that you get along with and stuff, and you know, I don't want to be anti everything. It's not about that, but it's more just going, well, this is it. This is what it is, and then you got to do this. This is the new norm. This is the new thing. Go and do it. My problem with the vaccine is, it's not about just getting it, but I also feel there's no end in sight for stopping to get it. Do you know what I mean? They're already talking about like the 3rd shot and the 4th shot, and they're already doing it overseas and stuff. And I saw, you know, like, and I guess I seldom watch the Western fucking media, right? But you can't help but see it. You know, you turn the telly on to get the YouTube, it's on there, or it's on social media, and it's just crazy. You know, like I saw today, they were like, Sydney cases surging again, and I'm like, well, naturally, like, of course it's going to happen. It's not going anywhere, and the vaccinated can get affected too, right? So you almost go, is there's got to be some new news coming soon? Like, it's like the flu, you know what I mean? Like, let's just look at something else for it, like another disease or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just getting sick of seeing that. It's like, oh, but they're all vaccinated. It's like, yeah, of course. So, but the vaccinated people can get it. So it's kind of like, it's just fucking dead news. It's redundant now, you know? It's like, shut the fuck up. But yeah, it's crazy, you know, and then people... the other thing I don't like about it, and you'll probably agree with this, is like, and again, I'm not anti-vax. I'm not. I've had all the immunisations growing up and stuff like that. I wanted to travel to Thailand, you need to get this because you want to go in the jungle, cool, get whatever that is. Yeah. You do it. But people that have got, most people that know they've got the vaccine, it's sort of, they cement themselves into like this godlike status. You know, they're like, they're raised above you.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you're anti. And I really don't like that mentality, you know. And I'm a pretty opinionated guy, but I really like other people's opinions, especially if they're dead against mine, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, hey, I love heavy metal, or I love rap. Yeah. Well, I don't hate you instantly because you like rap, because I like rap too. Yeah. I just like heavy metal more. I don't know, man. It just fucking does my nut in. It's a really awkward time. Coming into Christmas, we're a month out. Now I've got a partner that's pregnant. You know, there's things you think about, you know, and I don't know, man. It's kind of scary, I think. It's actually really scary territory.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have really any control over it, I guess. So you sort of make the best out of the situation that you can. And I mean, like I said, you know, it's been since July since I've had social media. I get fed this information from other people that get this information. Then I might go looking and researching it myself. But just being out of that constant loop of COVID news, you know, is really, really good. Yeah, just take care of myself, take care of the family. Not worry about that shit too much.
Like the immunity booster.
Yeah,
that we all need.
And like, speaking of immunity, that just working on, you know, having a healthy immune system. You know, lots of sunlight, salt water, fresh air, exercise, eating healthy.
Because you've been pretty good. I feel like you're always kind of a pretty healthy dude, but I feel like you've been putting in way more effort over the last few months. Yeah,
definitely stepped up. Like, because I want to be able to train again. I want to be able to play, you know, I was saying again next year, that kind of thing. So just get more fit. Yeah.
And it's hard too, like getting older. Like you know, we're pretty much the same age, and like there are little niggling things.
Oh yeah.
You know, you can now look at older people and go, "What the fuck are you moving so slow for?" And you're like, "Oh, no, I get it. Yeah, my hips. This movement stuff is like finding me out. You know, like I'm just like, fuck, man, an organ's sore, or my shoulder's sore, or my knee. I don't know, I'm so weak there."
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of in the same spot. I think that's sort of half the reason I'm kind of doing this stuff with Nick, is like to really, well, one, just to look after myself. You know, because I don't think I look after myself as well as I could. But I just feel like the world's gone out of control at the moment with this stuff, and I feel bad. I really feel bad for people that are like vaccinated, that like are really trying to force it on other people too, because I think that just comes from a place of fear.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely watch the news and go, like, geez, that was just scary, right? Can we turn off with something else, like some Peppa Pig or something, to lighten the mood. But
it's very easy to control people when people are fearful, you know, and they're afraid of these sort of phantom things. It's like everyone's afraid of this virus that has a less than 2% mortality rate. Yeah. The 2% of people that have died have died, have, you know, massive pre-existing health conditions already, like obesity or cancer, heart disease. It's like, I'm pretty sure I don't have those.
No,
so
you're
I'm
the fattest person
not
I've seen.
fucking, you know, bulletproof, but the best thing I can do is best, you know, focus on good mental health and good physical health and that sort of thing.
That's the biggest thing. I've said it before on the show, and I'll probably say it again, but I reckon that would be the greatest social experiment, to literally turn off the TV.
Yeah.
I mean, we could all do it, but like literally just take it off the air, which will never happen. You have to do it yourself. And the same with social media, because it's such a big distraction, and it's just that constant loop of just everything, like, that you probably don't need to see half.
Well, people our age don't really watch the news, do they? Like, if you think people who watch the news, they must be over 50 or 60, surely.
Well, yeah,
but it's more like our age is obviously social media.
Yeah.
And maybe there's things popping in there or whatnot. I don't know, but
it definitely is. I mean, I don't watch it. I'll see it. My mum will put it on, and she's like, "Oh, it's where I get my news." And it's classic too, because it's the news, right? It's in the name. It's the news. It's where I get my news. And it's like, you know, it's just like watching one source.
Yeah.
It's like listening to one band and going, "This is the band for me." Like, I've never, I love this band. I love Metallica, man. There's no other metal out there for me.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they get to hear Slayer, and then they fucking get to hear Pantera, and they're like, "Wait a second.
We're in a completely different genre. You know, there's more music than metal.
Yeah,
I like rap.
Yeah, you like rap. I had some Nas on this morning. Yeah,
there you go.
You get a New York State of Mind.
Yeah, Illmatic, yeah.
And then you're like, whoa. I thought it was just Metallica, man. You know, and that's kind of, I don't know, that's a bit of a fucking dumb analogy, but it's kind of like that, isn't it? You know, and I think that's probably a problem of our generation too. That could be a con as well, because we almost can overconsume, you know. But I think the people that you and I follow are those ones that like are definitely like out there. They're big, but because they're so big and they're so thought evoking, it really divides people. I mean, we're both pretty hot on Jordan Peterson at the moment. You're reading the book. No, he's not a fucking flash in the pan by any means. We're following him for a while, but things just keep popping up, videos of his and interviews, and every time I see something, I'm like, I actually really agree with that and relate to that. Like, there's nothing dumb that he said there to me, you know? Yeah,
well, he's big on, you know, using logic and rational thinking and just looking at things and breaking down things and not just immediately going to emotion when you're having a discussion. Yeah. Because emotion or offense doesn't dictate, you know, if you're going to be right or wrong. And
and that's a problem too, is that people, like, they're so hot on an opinion, and then they hear another one and they're like, "Oh man, I told you Metallica was the best band ever. Just stuck with this Pantera shit." Oh man, but I don't know, it's crazy too. We'll circle back with this, because I know quite a few people up here, you included, me included, that aren't vaccinated. And I'm interested to see what happens in a month's time. I'm not saying that... One of the things I said to Beck, I said, if I get the vaccine, I'm not telling anybody. That's not to be rebellious or anything like that. I just feel like it causes... And it's the same as not telling people I'm unvaccinated too. I'm just going to say, look, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Certain people that are open-minded like yourself...
I'm not going to talk about it, but just on Spotify, YouTube...
we'll catch it. We'll be going to a pub, and one of us will be walking in for some reason, because you've got a special passport, and you just won't come in because you just don't like it, you know? But it's crazy, but... I don't know, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, literally, it's Christmas in like 6 weeks or some shit like that, you know? We've got to do a special Chrissy episode.
40 days, I think.
40 days and 40 nights. But,
something like that.
Yeah, fuck. I don't know, but that's an interesting topic. And I still would love to get some people that know way more than me about this. I feel like I don't want to say we're educated. I don't want to sound egotistical up my own ass and stuff with those sort of opinions, but I'd love to get people from both sides, like the pros and cons and this and that. But I feel like there's so much of it out there right now, and it's such a topic that's never going to be... Like, in 50 years, we might know what was right or wrong, you know, but fuck. Anyway, man, we can talk all night about this one.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some gangster shit.
All right.
I love gangster movies. So you've set it out here. You've got some good ones on here, actually. And for the most part, I've seen most of these. And I don't know, most of these directors and stuff like that. But I will say I set the tone the other night. Shout out Liz Claw, because that's their trademark. I'm not stealing it, but I didn't. I've set the tone. That's right. I've stole it from another show. I like that show. I've set the tone the other night because I watched Black Mass on Saturday night. Yeah. Great gangster movie. James Whitey Bulger, Johnny Depp. He's legit scary in that. But what we got here? How should we start this? I'll let you spin this one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you're to look at the best gangster movies of all time, you know, we're specifically sort of talking about movies set in the US and generally talking about movies that are based around, you know, immigrants or or whatnot, forming organised crime gangs.
Because it gets hard when we start pulling in Australia and English. Those are two, I will say, those are two countries that like divide people 50-50. They either hate Australian English movies or they love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, me too. I love them, yeah.
But, yeah, we could talk about that one another
like, you could say, oh, you know, Snatch is a comedy, but it's a blah, 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 but it's about a gangster or whatnot.
Very gangster oriented.
Yeah. So like you watch the Gentleman, Guy Ritchie's other movies as well. But so to narrow the genre down, essentially, we're talking specifically American sort of gangster movies. Yes. I think.
We'll start with the Americas, mate.
Yeah.
Greatest nation on earth.
Yeah. Superpower.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we'd just sort of say the top 5. I reckon you could go to almost any like movie website or any sort of journalist or anything like that ranks these kind of things, and the top 5 would probably be about the same for most.
I will say here, like, you've got, and I feel like a bit of a fraud because is this in order? Is this order for you?
Yeah.
Because
I think so. Yeah.
Ironically, I've not seen 1 and 2. Number 3 for me is number 1.
Yeah.
Number 3 for you is number 1 for me.
Yeah.
So you've got number 5.
We'll start from the bottom. Yeah.
You've got Scarface.
Scarface. Yeah. Al Pacino.
5.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Scarface in a fucking long time.
Oh, dude.
Like, a very long time. I remember I bought it on DVD. You know, you go through that phase of buying DVDs years ago, and I was like, I have to see Scarface.
Yeah.
It was a great movie back then. It's a pretty iconic movie.
Yeah.
Does it hold up well? I have not seen it in years.
You know, it's comedic.
It's
but it's hilarious. I mean, like, I actually watched it pretty recently at the cinemas. They had a back-to-back 80s movies night, pre-COVID, and it was Aliens, which I love sci-fi, like 1986, James Cameron's Aliens, and Scarface after that. So just back to back.
That's a long night, man.
It was a long night, and it was just awesome. I mean, watching it again on the big screen, or never seen it on the big screen but, you know, great movie. Al Pacino, great performance. You know, obviously he's Italian. He's playing a Cuban immigrant in this movie. Well, he's Italian descendant, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Playing a Cuban immigrant from around the time of Castro letting out criminals, and you know, that real sort of Miami vibe of bright colours, and
I will say there's some pretty sick outfits in it. That was a big one for me.
Yeah.
You know, someone that's partial to a party shirt.
Yeah.
And unbutton one of that.
Yeah. And I think, you know, as we go through the list, you could sort of pull out the commonalities between these top 5, or just a lot of gangster movies in general. Well, I haven't seen Scarface in ages, but I was going to get you to do like a Scarface quote or something. Just like a funny...
Everybody knows the Scarface quote. It's just, isn't it?
Say hello to mate.
Say hello to my little friend. And then he just he does it. I feel like I need more throat, but, you know, but that's a great scene. When he's got the pile of coke, that's like... I'm not a drug addict, but you can see that, wow, that looks fun. Do you know what I mean? He's got a mountain of coke, or the Everest of cocaine on his desk. He's sitting there just balling out.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see this show ramping up in 10 years' time, and me just fucking fizzling out with a fucking mound of cocaine in rehab. And he just the head into it, and he's like, there's 50 of these Egyptian cunts coming to kill me.
Egyptian?
What are they? There's something.
They're Bolivian, I guess.
Bolivian,
or Colombian, maybe, the guy that sends them, but... Yeah, they're American. They're South American.
South American. It's a big one.
Those countries used to be... Those continents used to be one Pangea, wasn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I love that. There's so many... So quotable, that movie. And just the funny, like, little underhanded ones like... Like, you want to come have some ice cream with me and my friend? Just random little quotes.
The thing about it, I always thought was like... He was like just hanging on Michelle Pfeiffer the whole movie. She just like hates him the whole movie.
Yeah,
like she's not into him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you think she'd fall for him at one point, but she does in a way, I suppose. Scarface is good, man. I tell you what though, number 4 is a red hot favorite for me.
Yeah,
like it's right up there.
Yeah. Casino. Yeah. One of my favorites. I love all these movies. I love gangster movies in general. Probably my second favorite genre, but after sci-fi. But yeah, Casino, 1995. So coming on the back of another movie we'll talk about soon. De Niro, Sharon Stone and Joe Pesci.
That
Scorsese directing. Yeah.
We'll be gushing over these two, but De Niro and Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
The greatest gangster combination, I'm gonna say, in the world. Like of the greatest ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's they're so good. That movie for me was just so good. I remember watching it when I was quite young. See, I was raised on like just anything that censorship wasn't a thing to my dad. So he just just raised me on whatever. And I remember being quite young, you know, maybe like I'm thinking like 11, 12.
Yeah.
It was a great movie, you know. I remember walking in and it was that scene, spoiler alert, but Joe Pesci's character where him and his brother are getting just beaten to a pulp with the bats. And I was like 12 and I'm like, whoa, do people die like that, you know? And that was my first brush with Casino, and it's still a really hard
spoiler alert as well.
Spoiler, like, sorry,
came out like fucking 40 years ago. No,
no, we people, man. Well, there's people that haven't seen fucking these two at the top.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's sitting right here. But that was one of those things where I was just like, holy fuck. But as I got older, I went and saw the whole movie. It's just a great movie. Again, shout out the outfits. I mean, De Niro, Ace Rothstein, his outfits, badass in it, and it just. Again, that whole movie just sort of sets the pace for gangster shit.
Yeah.
It's got Don Nicholson, who's one of my favourite comedians. Pesci's character, just like, it's almost like when he's in movies, you're like, is he just playing himself?
Yeah.
Or is he playing?
He was so close to the real life person he was based on as well. Like looks wise and temperament wise and everything. They just thought, it was spot on.
The scene with the pen. The pen.
Yeah, is this your pen?
Yeah, is this your pen? Like that's that's almost like, is it like fucking like, did they just come up with that on the spot or something like that?
Yeah.
That is again like just a disgusting scene, but you're like, he's just set the tone as like I'm the ultimate gangster. Could you imagine just doing that?
Yeah.
And this is a true story, right? This shit happened, and it's just like,
there's that scene, the head in the vice.
Oh, The Vice.
The scene.
This is a fucking sick movie, actually. I'm going to have to watch it again.
It's sick and sickening,
It's sick and sickening. Yeah, there's that one, his eye pops out. Spoiler alert too, I will say, you don't have to listen to this if you haven't seen these movies, but we're not giving away the movie. It's a 3-hour movie. There's just 3 very good scenes that we've just... But basically, that's a true story of what Ace Rothstein, he run the Tangiers Casino.
Well, they call it Tangiers in this movie, I'm pretty sure, but it wasn't called that in real life. It was a different one.
And this is old Vegas, right? And
yeah, 70s, I think. Yeah,
but he was like a fucking betting, gambling guru, and he was like a direct link to the mafia, and they put him in there. And then
a Jewish guy as well. So De Niro being bit of Italian descent, but mostly Irish descent actually as well, playing a Jewish guy.
Yeah, it's I honestly want to go watch that movie again.
Oh, it's so good.
Like, it's so good. And shout out Sharon Stone, equal parts fucking hot.
Yeah.
And just like
hysterical,
out of bone, like blown bitch in it. Like you hate her, eh? And you're just like, fuck. But really good movie, Casino.
James Woods,
prick.
Just playing this sleazy.
Yeah, just you
pimp.
hate him.
Yeah,
you know? I would go as far as saying it's good. Casino. Sorry, spoiler alert. Casinos has got to be in my top 3.
Yeah, right.
I don't even know what.
We haven't seen.
I've got number 1.
Yeah.
I haven't seen these ones. There's other ones you've got in this list below, honourable mentions that have fucking high regard for me.
Yeah.
I've got to take the next one. It's the greatest one for me.
Yeah.
This is my number 1. I'm going to top 3. You can go top 5, of course. It's there. Jarrud, he bought as a present. He buys nice presents. Goodfellas. That is the numero uno. That's the number 1 of gangster films ever. 3 decades in the mafia. You've got Ray Liotta. You've got Robert De Niro. You've got Joe Pesci. Plus many other actors.
Yeah.
You know.
Scorsese directing.
Yeah, Scorsese directing. Arguably, and he directed Casino too, we should say as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of things I've read too, like people say that's Scorsese's greatest, like that's his claim to fame, like that's the one, and he's got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
That to me, that was the one. Years ago, I sat down, because people go, what's your favourite movie and what's your favourite band, right? And I love music and I love fucking movies. I can never answer those 2 questions. I can talk all night about movies and bands, but if you asked it dead flat, what's your favourite band, I would just go, I don't know,
Yeah.
It's something I've never been able to settle on. For a while there, I was like, I have to come up with a movie. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
And I watched it so many times. I was like, yeah, it's Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one for me. you know, and it's still awesome. Like, just talking about it now, I'm like, God, I want to watch that. I actually looked for it a week ago, and the dogs have taken it all off the streaming services, and I was like, hook up the DVD player.
I've got it on Blu-ray, but I lent it to someone, so I'll have to get it back. Because I've watched, you know, I put this list together ages ago, like a couple of months ago, and I sort of went through and watched most of the movies on this list, including, you know, most of the honorable mentions kind of thing. Yeah, just got in a real zone of watching gangster movies. Yeah,
it's so good, man. What's that to me is just, it's a quote city. Like, it's so good from the opening scene. That just
as far back as I remembered, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Yeah, that is a good one. Never rat on your friends, you know. Like, there's so many just good lines in it, you know. Yeah. I'm funny.
Yeah, funny how.
I'm a fucking clown. I amuse you. That scene, and you're like, I've watched that movie 100 times. I still get awkward watching that scene.
Yeah.
And even Ray Liotta's face and everybody in there. And I think if that, you know, again, true story. And if that was a real thing that happened, I love how, like, Joe Pesci's character, because he's not really like a daunting figure. Joe Pesci, he's probably shorter than us. Like, he's just, you know, he's got the sort of the Bafana hair and whatever. They look cool as fuck back then with the suits. They wore it well, you know. And everybody in that whole restaurant is just like, I think it's the Copacabana or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
You know? They were just like,
no, it wasn't Copacabana, but it's later. Yeah,
you know what I'm thinking, but. Everyone's just fearing him.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. No one's going to pull him up on it. And you're like, God, I hope this ends well for fucking Ray Liotta. And it does. But that's a great scene. I bet you people have probably seen 100 million memes from that movie. Yeah. And not realised, oh, that's Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Thing I love about these movies, though, is like, they're true stories. 90%.
Well, based on,
true stories.
Yeah.
There's probably bits that have changed for dramatic effect. But for the most part... very, very cool.
I got on this big thing as I was watching these on YouTube. Is Michael Francese?
Yeah, he's on a podcast, eh?
Yeah, really, really worth watching. He's really well spoken, and he was head of I think it was I can't remember. He was head of a Italian crime family in New York back in these times. And he's mentioned in Goodfellas. He's a character they introduce when they're going through. You know, he's like talking about the guy that's, I'm gonna go get the papers. Yeah, he goes through like all these people. Yeah, and Michael Francese is mentioned, but he in his podcast he was like, I don't know why they mentioned me because I was around, but I wasn't with that crew.
Yeah.
But he sort of talks about, you know, Henry Hill a lot and dives into it, and he's not, you know, who he's made out to be in the movie, but the movie's still amazing. You know.
Well, they almost like make him out to be somewhat innocent, like he's almost like the quiet achiever. But he's obviously quite feared because he's pretty young, like when he was like really high ranked in there. But there's again that scene with the gun, and he just like he's protecting the chick that he ends up marrying. You know. Karen.
Yeah.
That scene was just fucking good. I've always in my head gone, this is sadistic, of course, but I'm like, when am I going to get my fucking just slammed him in the face with the gun scene?
Yeah.
It's just mental, man. It's seriously like, I love it. I fucking want to watch that movie. If I can get it tonight, I'm watching it on TV. Yeah. I'm not sleeping tonight. But that was good. So for me, I'll be frank with you. Goodfellas is number one. Casino is probably up there at number 2 or 3. I'm not really sure. There's a couple we'll get into honorable mentions that stand out as well.
Yeah.
Scarface, probably my top 10. I like it, but like I've only seen it probably once or twice, so I need to go back and revisit.
I had to mix it up and put something that was Italian American centric.
Yeah, there's very much there's one that's sticking out to me here.
Just a bit of diversity
sprinkled in it, you know. 2 bad honorable mentions that are probably in my top 5. You've got number 1 and 2. Ironically, it's part 1 and 2.
Godfather.
In what order? Yeah. I'm not sure. The Godfather.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, I watched both pretty recently.
Yeah.
I've seen Godfather, the first one, a lot more. I definitely would put that higher. I would say it is the best gangster movie of all time.
So Godfather Part 1 is your number 1 gangster movie?
Yeah, look, I'm not just saying that it's my personal opinion either. It's more like, okay, because it comes earlier, like I think it's 1972, and it's sort of just really groundbreaking the way it was, and there was real mafia guys that were involved, and they were wary about it being made, but when they sort of saw the way it was being made, they were really, they liked it, even though it wasn't trying to glorify mafia life so much. But Marlon Brando, obviously one of the greatest actors of all time.
Iconic role, eh?
Yeah. You got to watch it. I mean, I can't believe you haven't watched.
It's just, and you know what? And I remember growing up too. My dad, he had a box set, a VHS box set, Godfather 1, 2, and 3, and I never watched it. I think maybe the fact that they were so long, even though like Goodfellas and Casino are all quite long,
very long,
it turned me off because they're all like 3 hours plus. I'm like, God, this is a lot of things.
They're more slow burn, like because
definitely slower.
Goodfellas and Casino are very just like the way they intersperse the music in it, and just the editing, and it's seems faster paced, even though there's still 3 hours. As Godfather is a lot more talking and that kind of stuff, like sitting around and talking about stuff. But the second one, really, really good as well. And obviously, De Niro comes in and plays a younger Don Corleone when he's in Sicily and he first comes to America and all that sort of stuff. So, and then Al Pacino plays, Don Corleone's son in the Michael, and that sort of ties into Casino and stuff, where the mafia came in and had a big input on how Las Vegas was created, basically with mob money and all this kind of stuff. So classics.
I've got to see it. I can't believe I've not seen it. I think it's on Netflix or one of those. Maybe it's on Binge.
It's on Stan. I think I watched them on Stan recently. Yeah.
Just found out I've got a Stan account because they've been charging me, but I'm like, man, I don't have one. But maybe
use the code King of the Couch. Sign up for Stan and get a free 14-day trial. No.
Give me my $30 back. Stan, seriously. Top 5. They're a good top 5. So you got Godfather 1, Godfather 2, Goodfellas, Casino, Scarface. I like that. They're good honourable mentions. Hey, they're good mentions.
Well, here's some commonalities with those. Like, just those 5 movies alone. You've got, directors wise, you got Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, Brian De Palma, who directed Scarface. Actor wise, you got Robert De Niro. Obviously, he's in Godfather 2, Goodfellas, and Casino. Al Pacino, who's in Godfather 1, 2, Scarface. Joe Pesci being in the Scorsese movies, so he's in
Goodfellas and Casino.
And so most of those guys are descendant, like first or second generation of Sicilian or Italian immigrants.
They're almost like proper.
Mafia so De Niro sort of got more Irish sort of heritage, I think, and I think he plays an Irish guy in Goodfellas because he talks about how he can't be made because he's not. And but like the similarities between these movies, like they are all different movies, but they really strong script and dialogue. Like we love our dialogue in movies, and like you said, the iconic scenes we're coming down back to the ones where people are talking, and just really strong performances. So
just like really kind of in your face scenes, and there's always like that underlying tension. So good.
Like Al Pacino's scene of Scarface where he's really drunk at the bar and he's saying, "You're all a bunch of fucking assholes, you need people like me," and just it's not action heavy, it's dialogue heavy. So
and I like those ones. There's almost like a lot more thought that goes into it because you have to fucking write the words. And someone's got to put the spin on it. I like this one. Music fan, iconic soundtracks. I highly agree. It's particularly Casino, Goodfellas. But it was because Scorsese is a massive Rolling Stones fan. So anybody that's watched any Scorsese movies, maybe besides Gangs of New York, I think that was Scorsese's one. There's probably a Rolling Stones song. In every movie.
Give Me Shelter. I mean, it's my favorite Stones song, and because it's in those movies, I think it's in both Casino and Goodfellas.
Yeah, it is.
So if I hear it, it just puts me back in that movie, and that's why it has that.
There's heaps. Hey, he loves the Stones, but I look. Not that I can listen to that because I don't have a fucking record player, but I Spotify'd it, and it's great. It's every. I love hearing a soundtrack, especially that old time music where it's like times were different, and it fucking transports you. I'm the same. You hear a song, you're like, I know exactly the scene, the fucking tone, and that was it, But that's half. I would love to do that. If I can digress, I would love to be able to watch a movie and do the score for a movie. I think that'd be so fun. And that'd be fucking difficult too.
The score or the songs, like the soundtrack?
The soundtrack, definitely, because they can make or break it.
Scoring a movie would be so hard. I mean, like Hans Zimmer, I love his music and just, I don't know how they do it, just they're magicians.
Tarantino does all his own sort of stuff, all the time. We definitely sets out all the soundtracks and shit. I think that's really cool because you got to have a fucking vast knowledge of music to know. Okay, well, this is going to set the scene for that. Set the scene for this scene.
The Godfather sort of theme, I think it was actually used in another movie, but it's pretty iconic. Like when you see the movie and you hear it again, it takes you back. I remember because Guns N' Roses, like Slash, he plays the Godfather theme. It's like a thing that he does live. I've seen him do it live. I've seen the movie. I know the song though. It's cool. You don't get many movies like that nowadays that'll have like a theme song almost. Like that's kind of like a movie that has like a theme song. That's almost like an older thing, But I don't know. It's just very good soundtracks. Very good. I like your honourable mentions here.
This to me, this is a good list. I'll be honest. These top 2 here, for me, are probably in my top 5 of gangster films.
Yeah.
And I only go on movies that I watch numerous times. If you're watching a movie like more than 10 times and continuously enjoying it, you're like, yeah, that's got to be top.
Yeah.
First one, American Gangster. I fucking love American Gangster.
Yeah.
I've probably seen that movie about 10 or 15 times.
Yeah.
I don't get sick of it. Denzel is great. Russell Crowe is great. Probably 2 of the best roles I've ever seen them in.
Yeah.
They're both likeable characters.
Yeah,
One's like a full gangster.
Yeah.
And one's like the good guy, but he's got a bit of fucking mongrel in him.
Yeah. Based on a true story again.
Yeah, true story.
Frank Lucas.
Which is really cool. I think the ironic thing there, and I feel like I've seen a director's cut of this movie. There's a scene in it. Maybe I'm fucking tripping out here, but because what's his name? I can't. Russell Crowe's character was the guy that for years hunted him down and finally arrested him. But then real life, years later, he became his lawyer because in the movie he was studying.
Yeah, that was his first client.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? That you end up defending the guy that you've
put away
so hard to put away.
Yeah.
He probably thought this is good. There's good money here. But that one's great. That whole thing about him just fucking importing heroin into the States.
Yeah.
Like people that can just do that on a mass scale, like it's really, really bad. At the same time, you're like, wow, that's like it takes some serious balls.
Yeah.
You know, he was like the next step on from Bumpy Johnson, who was like the King of Harlem at the time. So great movie, man.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, I watched that recently. Same thing, like really good performances. Denzel's an amazing actor and really good music. There is, I think, a director's cut where he walks out.
They're walking down the street together,
and then
right?
like there's
at the end of the movie.
Public Enemy playing, and then they walk past a group of like gangbangers, and
he goes to have a coffee, and he's not got his hands.
Yeah.
I wasn't fucking tripping, eh?
Yeah.
There, got to see that.
I think I've got that cut on DVD. Yeah, but the one streaming is probably the theatrical. Yeah.
No, nice. I'm gonna have to watch all these ones. I'm gonna have to watch again. This movie's great. This one never gets old for me.
Yeah.
It actually gets better every time I watch it.
Yeah.
The Departed.
Yeah.
The Departed.
Departed.
Fucking Leo.
Fucking firefighters.
Yeah, fucking firefighters. Bunch of fucking homos. Go and save a fucking kid, you fucking homos. Firstly, Matt Damon, who's like the character sorry, my dog's in here. Shout out Frank. He's the character you love to hate in it, Matt Damon, but you feel bad for him as well. You've got Leo, who's just, he's sort of on the edge. The whole movie you feel bad for. I just put my feet in his shoes and go, God, he must be fucking anxious and under the weather and just fucking mental. You've got Mark Wahlberg. It's probably arguably one of Mark Wahlberg's best roles, I think.
I'm pretty sure he was nominated for an Academy Award for that movie. Was, Best Supporting.
He was, and I think I saw a fucking trivia thing the other day. He was the only one. I know he was one of the only people. Spoiler alert: he didn't die in it, but there was a reason he didn't die in it. I have to fucking Google that. There was a bit of trivia, a bit of controversy behind it. And then of course the Mecca, Jack Nicholson, which is probably one of the last roles that Jack Nicholson's done that I can recall. That of any substance.
This is 2006.
It's been a while.
I think he won Best Picture too. For the year, which not that you have to put too much stock in the Academy Awards, obviously. No. But I'm pretty sure it won the Academy Award Best Picture. But it's actually based on a Hong Kong movie series. Have you seen that?
I haven't. Is it Infernal or Internal?
Infernal, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little play on Internal.
Yeah.
Right? But
I thought so.
I've watched all three. I had the box set on DVD, and first and third movie's really good.
Yeah.
The middle one was a prequel, wasn't as good.
Yeah.
But the first movie has a pretty different ending, I think, to The Departed.
People always, you get them like real fucking movie enthusiasts that are like, oh yeah, The Departed, but have you seen Infernal first? That's where it's ripped it off from. But that's pretty common though, I feel like, in Hollywood. But I mean, it's done by the GOAT, Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Here
he is again.
Mate, Marty.
He's popping up. He's not fucking making theme parks over here. He's making good movies.
So that one for me is it. I mean, I've got a lot of love for anything that's got like Irish roots. I love. Yeah, let's do it for Ireland. I love it, but it's got all the great. It's got all the good looking characters.
Boston movies are just so good.
Boston's
never been there. Never get to go there, but
man,
they just.
We could do a whole special on Boston.
Yeah,
Boston, fucking. I love it, but The Departed's up there for me, probably in my top 5. I'd say that's probably well up there in the top 3. That could be up there. I've watched that movie again 10 plus times. Yeah. Never get sick of it. I actually watched it probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Nah, it was a bit longer than that.
It is real good.
I'm gonna let you take this next one because I've tried probably 4 times to watch this, and
You haven't watched it yet?
I have not watched it.
Holy
from
shit.
start to finish. I'm gonna have to sit there actually because I'm not drinking as much. That's probably the con. I drink a little bit sort of moderately when I watch these movies and probably fall into a bit of a drunk nap.
Yeah.
And it's not a movie that you can do that on because it's about 14 hours long.
So I watched it. Yeah. So we're talking about The Irishman, which came to Netflix a year or 2 ago. I watched it once all the way through. Loved it.
Yeah.
Last half an hour drags on like nothing else. Went to watch it a second time, like a week later. Like, I was, what am I doing? Another 3 hours of my life?
Yeah.
Got to that last half an hour, didn't finish. And then doing this list, I was like, yeah, go watch it again, watch it from start to finish. But, you know, we've got Scorsese again directing. You've got a really aging Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in the same movie. This is
Joe Pesci's back in it too.
And Joe Pesci, holy shit.
You got the Mecca.
Harvey Keitel, you're just like, holy shit. Like,
this
all
was
these
kind
people.
Of the one that was almost like a bit of a fucking tribute and homage to
this is like
itself.
their last hurrah together, you know, before they all start. God forbid, you know.
I think for me, initially, maybe I got my hopes well up because I thought it was going to be like Goodfellas, like almost like note for note. I don't know why I didn't know the story. I know it's on the book about, I heard you paint houses, I heard he paints houses.
Yeah.
Because he's a hitman, right?
Yeah.
I think I got fucking taken back by like the 3 minutes and 3 hours and 40 minute fucking timeline. I was like, Jesus Christ. I had my hopes well high for it. And I kept falling asleep.
Yeah.
I can't get there. But I'm going to watch it.
It is really good. Al Pacino is just amazing in it.
Yeah.
Again, playing Jimmy Hoffa, which is great because he's got these awesome scenes where he's got, I can't remember his actor's name, but Tommy from Snatch, who plays an Italian person, and Al Pacino's playing Jimmy Hoffa, who's like German, sort of Dutch origin, I believe. And he gets really racist against Italians, even though in real life he is Italian, which is just hilarious. But yeah, De Niro playing an Irish gangster guy. And probably the thing that puts me off about the movie is that, you know, in Goodfellas they had younger versions of these characters played by younger actors. And then in The Irishman, they just do the whole de-aging thing. Yeah, where,
it's still not...
You know, De Niro, who's 70 plus, trying to make him look 20-ish is just not...
Like, I appreciate what they've tried, but I didn't like it. I thought it was weird. Their eyes look weird when they do that shit.
Yeah,
they're not real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to check that one out. That one...
The aging is good. Like, when they go, here's...
When they're in the...
Old mate, let's make him 20 years older. They pull that off amazingly.
They do that well.
But it's the de-aging that sort of struggles. But yeah, really good movie. Well worth the watch. You know, it is 3+ hours long. But, you know, to have Al Pacino, De Niro in... I think this is the 3rd time they've been in a movie together where they interact. Because they're in The Godfather 2, but they play in different timelines. So, you know, one's playing father, one's playing son, but both at the same age. And then they were in Heat and another movie called... I can't remember, but it was not very good.
I fucking love Heat.
Heat's...
She had a great ass!
You got your head all the way up.
Oh man,
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Just go and watch Heat. Just that. Another fucking long movie. There's a bit of a. I'll tell you what. That's another thing. That's a big merging pattern between all these movies. They're fucking long as shit.
Well, they take the studio's probably coming in going, oh, you know, you can't make this long movie. How's it going to go in the cinemas? And the directors are going, hey, fuck us. Like, I'm going to make this movie. And you know, obviously Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola, you know, Michael Mann for Heat. They're directors that have a lot of clout and they can just go, well, this is what we're going to do. The studio will back them.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, they've got...
It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one, but yeah, they're fucking long as shit. Actually, the next one's probably one of the least longest on the honourable mention.
Yeah, Donnie Brasco. Watched it recently. It hasn't aged well. The way it's edited and the way, like, it's a real product of its time. And, you know, Goodfellas is 1990 and Donnie Brasco's from the 90s as well. But Goodfellas just seems timeless.
Yeah.
And Donnie Brasco's kind of like, oh, okay, it's not a Scorsese movie, it's someone else. And
I liked it. I did like it. I've got it on DVD, you know, but it's one of those movies I've never really revisited. Like, I like the other gangster movies. Like, I want to watch this again.
Yeah.
I sort of felt bad for him, Donnie Brasco. Like, the whole movie of him, you know, he's like, what, 6 or 7 years on...
Oh, yeah.
Undercover, and then he goes and to get to the point where he gets, like, made.
Yeah.
And you just feel bad for him because he's just like kind of fucked his life in a way, and he's just kind of kind of been really, and that's the thing about going undercover. You're like, you kind of have to be. I know he's working with criminals and shit, but you're like, it's quite deceitful what you've got to live up to, and it must fuck with your head that. And I just felt bad for him.
Yeah,
you know. And then he kind of just gets a pat on the back and the
same as you know. Leo from The Departed, you know, being undercover, and it just really messes with him, and he's It's
almost like the higher power of the cops or whatever. They need someone. They need a fucking patsy. They need someone to do this shit.
Yeah.
And they get it done, and they're never gonna have a fucking good life. Like they're never just gonna be like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna chill now.
The whole thing with Donnie Brasco is that, ironically, you know, like Michael Franchese and other guys, they talk about that in terms of closest to real life, that is the movie they come back to and say this is the closest
It looks pretty
mob
accurate.
movie or gangster movie that's to reality. The way they talk and just everything. Whereas, you know, Goodfellas and Casino, even though they're based on true movies, they're Hollywoodized essentially. Yeah. So, but Donnie Brasco, the whole like, forget about it, like, you know, forget about it as everything kind of thing, and it definitely has its moments. So
it's a good one. I have to check it out. There's a few of these I haven't seen. We're pushing time here, so we'll keep cracking through these last few. But Untouchables. Yeah. I feel like I've seen this movie once. This was another one I felt like it's pretty old school, especially that scene with Sean Connery when he's getting shot to bits. I'm like, come on.
It hasn't aged great, but once again, you got De Niro in there playing Al Capone. So this is set in Prohibition era Chicago,
20s,
I believe.
Right? Yeah.
20s or 30s.
I think Prohibition was the 20s.
Was it? Yeah.
I feel like it was the 20s. It could have verged on the 30s.
Yeah.
I'm going to say $5 in the 20s.
All right.
Yeah. I'll take
5 will get you 10.
Yeah.
But Kevin Costner's in it. He's not the greatest actor, but this is I'm pretty sure this is another Brian De Palma movie. He did Scarface.
Yeah.
But
actually, yeah. It probably is. I don't know it too well. I know. Again, it's a true story. I always thought De Niro as Capone was pretty interesting.
Elliot Ness, yeah.
You know, because he looks so not like himself. Like he's meant to be fat, he's balding and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, they dress him up for it. Yeah.
That's one thing that they've never done well yet. I haven't seen that movie Capone too. Just speaking about Capone, but I've heard
apparently it's garbage.
Real shit. And I like Tom Hardy, but I don't like the fact that it's just like in his older dementia years. You know, they can make a really cool Al Capone movie, but they haven't done that yet. So, but with an actor that's properly fat, like someone that's like properly going Capone, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to check that one out. But it's pretty iconic. There's a few good scenes in that one. Again, I only seen it once.
Yeah, worth watching.
It's on Netflix.
I think it's from 1987, the year I was born, I think. This is another good one. Like, just an honourable mention, but Gangs of New York. Left field.
Like
but,
2 or 3 weeks ago, I watched that. I love it.
Not in the same vein as these other gangster movies we're talking about, which are like organised Italian-American crime or immigrant sort of based descent crime. But it is about gangs, and it's in New York, and it's Scorsese directing, and it's Leo, and it's potentially, you know, the greatest actor of all time, Daniel Day-Lewis.
He's good, man. He's good, Daniel Day-Lewis. I like Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't watch like a lot of his movies regularly. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those. He's got really hard movies, I think, to sort of go. I love
he hasn't done
one.
too many. Yeah.
No, like, and he's pretty staunch on what he's doing, and it's very character heavy.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bill the Butcher, like that's he's a badass. You know, Leo's character. I like Leo in it, but it's hard. I like Leo. Right? He's one of my favorite actors, but he's kind of hard to get past that accent in Gangs of New York. It's a bit dodgy. But that's a good one. It's a fucking. It's a real.
There's not many movies made in that sort of timeline or era, and it's pretty eye opening. And it's based on a true story, and just complete
it's
like
1800s, right?
Yeah, it's during the Civil War, and like how different New York was in those times to say what was happening in the Wild West, like those sort of other states on the other side of America, just completely different.
It's cool. I like the whole, by the time you get to the end of the movie, how it sort of like pans out and gets to like the modern day New York. You know, it's interesting to see, because you can't sort of fathom what New York would have been like pre-giant skyscrapers and buildings and Central Park and all that sort of shit. But yeah, that's a good one, man. I like it. It's a bit different to... It's a bit different to a lot of Scorsese stuff, of course. So if you're going to go, I hope it's like Goodfellas, it's definitely not. But yeah, I liked it. I watched it recently. I liked it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But
another 3 hours.
Yeah, it is. But it's got Brendan Gleeson in it, who's a great actor. It's got John C. Reilly in it, who's a great actor.
Yeah,
and he's always, like, for the layman, he's always known for his comedic roles, but he's in some good serious roles.
He's in my favourite movie, The Thin Red Line, which is a completely non-comedic role. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I sort of first knew him from.
Yeah, so that's a good one. This one here, I'll have to let you take this one. I'll be honest, I've actually never seen this movie either. And the timeline of it really fucking turns me up too. Every time I go to do it, it's like 3 hours and 49 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah.
killing
So
me.
Once Upon a Time in America, I think that's if I'm wrong, I could be wrong. Sergio Leone movie.
I think it is
The guy
yeah.
that did The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Yeah, I
which
think
is
it
a
is.
great spaghetti westerns. Yeah, really long. I've only seen it once. It's got De Niro in it, James Woods as well, and I'm sure there's some other actors I'm forgetting about that are high profile. Maybe.
De Niro's in it, Pacino's not in it. I'm not sure.
No, Pacino's not.
James Woods in it. I don't know, actually. I need to check it out. It's again, there's some of these ones that just like pass you by. I have to check that one out. This is about people that like the gangsters that end up coming to America.
I think they're Jewish in this movie. I think they're Jewish gangsters. Yeah.
Yeah. Haven't seen it, man.
Another one I forgot to put on the list, but I just thought about it when we we're talking about Al Capone was Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. So based on a graphic novel, set in that sort of same Chicago Prohibition era.
Yeah. Back when they wore the hats, like the fedora.
Just hats everywhere.
Hats. Everyone's wearing hats, you know.
Yeah.
They got the fucking Tommy guns.
Yeah, it's got Paul Newman in it as well, but that's a really good movie
That's a good one. There's one on here. Well, there's probably two. I watched Black Mass the other night. I'll probably add it to this list. I really rate Black Mass. It hit me harder the other night. I was like, this is actually quite a vicious movie, and I like when they're like that.
Yeah.
But the other one I really like, and I only watched it for the first time in the last 12 months, was A Bronx Tale.
Oh yeah. De Niro directed that.
Yeah. He's in it but he plays a good guy, right? He's in it, and then there's Chaz Palminteri.
Yeah.
Again, that was I'd seen snippets of that movie on YouTube and just scenes, and never actually seen the movie, and I was like, I've got to fucking sit down here. And it's a great sort of tale where the kid has his dad who's like the real right do-gooder being De Niro, and then he sort of falls in with the gangster crowd, and it's always like he's got this like good and bad dad, or father figure. But
how much does that kid look like De Niro as well? Just like
it's great
facially,
casting, But the Bronx Tale for me, A Bronx Tale was really quite up there.
Yeah.
I like those ones, but man, there's a few more. You've got some international ones. We might this one I've only seen once and a very long time ago. This other one I've not seen.
Yeah, well, we won't even worry about mentioning the one we haven't seen, but Eastern Promises. Yeah.
Special mention to Eastern Promises.
Yeah,
Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, Viggo, set in London, Russian mafia. Yeah. I think it's a David Cronenberg directed movie.
Same dude that did History of Violence.
Yes,
which is pretty
correct.
badass movie.
Yeah.
I do really like History of Violence, but I feel like I've only not even probably seen Eastern Promises. There's movies like this where they sort of pass you by.
Yeah.
And you might try and watch them once, then you fall asleep, and that's pretty much my stone cold stunner. I do that a fair bit. But
it's a heavy movie. It's pretty heavy, pretty full on.
Definitely heavy. It's about the
Russian mob.
Mafia, right? Yeah. Man, I like it. I appreciate this fucking list, and it's making me wanting to go back and watch all these ones, especially the ones I haven't. But they're so long. I'm gonna have to just take like a day off work.
Oh yeah, yeah. And if you're down in the dumps after watching so many violent mob hits and stuff, go and watch for the comedic relief. Analyze this and analyze that with De Niro again and Billy Crystal. Especially the first movie, Analyze This. Have you seen that?
I'll be honest, I have never seen this.
Okay.
So I want to see these. When they come out when you're like 10 and you're just
it's so good. It's so funny. Yeah.
I need to check them out. I actually looked them up the other day. I think they're on one of the streaming services.
Yeah.
It's sort of bit nowadays when they're not on a streaming service. You're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So I might check them out, man, for sure. But I reckon we fucking cut it. We might have to come back and do another. We might have to do an English Gangster special. I feel like this could be a standalone, just the movies on their own.
Yeah.
No, it was really cool, man. Good to fucking catch up and talk to you again. I think we've covered some heavy... Well, we've done eggs, we've done COVID, we've done gangster shit.
Yeah.
It's been good. I think that's it. Episode 118 in the can.
Thanks for having me.
First guest on the tube, mate.
Yeah, hopefully it pans out all right.
Yeah, you featured on RedTube before, I've heard. But this is the first YouTube.
No, OnlyFans.
Yeah, OnlyFans, yeah. No, I appreciate you listening. If you made it this far, fucking thank you very much for your time. Make sure that you're subscribing, you're liking it, and you're sharing the shit of it. Pay it forward. I'm huge on paying it forward. So you got to do that. But that's it. Me and the Wizard, we're clocking off. You've been a great audience. We love you all.